I know I'm like behind. I was cleaning up all the clothes I had just tried on from earlier today when I did some fashion shorts, but I'm here now. So let's get into it. So in today's why you don't need live, we have like 4 palettes to go over. So a whole bunch of brands just decided to drop it one time. So I was like, we're gonna do all 4 of them real quick and find out and decide, like what we want to do. So let's get into it. So I guess I'll start off with the what is it, the Nearly Natural that relaunched from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. So of course I have the original Nearly Natural. So obviously this would be a good contender to try out against it just because it's like, I don't want to not I mean, not use it, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, Janet. So I'm starting off with the Nearly Natural palette from Glaminatrix. I was supposed to do this, I think, last week and forgot. But as you know, I have the original Nearly Natural. I didn't need the new one. So we have this palette to choose from. Now, I know the newer one has a few more grungier shades than this one does. But I figured most people would be focused on the neutral shades and not necessarily those other ones. So I picked the Icy Nude as well because I think I've only done one look with this. So I was figuring maybe we could use this one as well because it does have a lot of grungy, like deeper tones to it. It just doesn't have those, what do you call them? The super deep grungy mattes that one has. But I feel like both of these look somewhat similar, and depending on what skin tone you are, it would determine which one you think I should use. So I'm thinking we could just go with the original, so that way it'll have the same formula as theirs and all that. Although I've heard they improved on their formula, so it might be like a newer formula, but I'm thinking I'll just go with the Nearly Natural because that's simple enough, and I'll just use this in another tutorial another time for something. I don't know, but so far I'm thinking this one. What do you think, Janet? Like Icy Nude or Glaminatrix? I feel like Laminatrix would just work, but we can come back to that one. On to the next one. So the next one I have is what do you call it? Oh, by the way, Janet. So I know I didn't give you all members only why you don't need, but when I thought about it, Icy Nude. Okay, we can do Icy Nude. Matter of fact, I'll do Icy Nude for members only, and then I'll just do the Glaminatrix one for the whole team. But like I was saying, I didn't give you all one last week, so I'm thinking we can do the Michaela one for the Call of the Siren for members only for the ones I did for everybody this week. Hello. And then we can do the Friday 13th for the other palette that I did because I feel like it gives really similar tones, and I didn't think about it at the time how similar these tones were to that palette, the Wicked Widow Beauty American Psycho one. I feel like this definitely gives a lot of the vibes. I don't know why me and I didn't think about this palette. I guess because it's like from Halloween so long ago. Thank you. God bless you as well. I hope you had a great day at church. I went online, but so yeah, these are the two I'm gonna give for you all next week, Janet. But let's get back into this video. So I pulled 3 for the Fantasy Cosmetica Ranger palette. The only thing is I don't know any of them that have gray besides this one. So the Fire and Ice Iceland palette from Nomad. I feel like it would be really good to like dupe it out, Janet, because I feel like it has the grays, it has the blue, it has the red that palette has that we don't see. Yeah, I see it for the Wicked Widow Beauty too. That was the first thing I thought. I'm like, I don't know how mean and I missed that one. Hey, Sarah. But I'm thinking this will be good for the Ranger palette because see, it has like the gray that palette has. Because I feel like the unique thing about hers is like the shade she chose. She chose like a mint green and like a unique sort of green, and then she chose like some reds and some kind of more smokier tones. So I felt like this would be best because it has this whole smoky row. You still get the oranges red. You still get a green, even though it's a green shimmer. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like them. So I'm thinking this will be our dupe for the Fantasy Cosmetica Ranger palette, Sarah and Janet. What do you think? Because I feel like this could be a good contender. You have your grays, you have a green to make up for the fact that we don't have any matte greens, and then you still have the reds to go with that palette. I do appreciate that when she does do the trend that everyone else does, she puts her own unique spin on it, but it does make these videos a little bit difficult. Okay, yeah, so we'll go with this one. And I see. So all 3 of these are members only, and these were the other 2. These 2 are for the main channel. So there we go. Oh, I just kicked the tripod. Okay, so I guess I don't need to show the other ones then. I'll show them because we're here. You all probably remember I made this one when I was trying to dupe out the Kellogg's palette from, what do you call it? From Glamlight. So I just made this little bitty palette of my own with the greens and the blues and the orange and whatnot. But as you can see, this one doesn't have red, and her palette has more red as opposed to orange. So I was just showing this because it did have the green. But And then I got my House of L from Adept. Y'all know I love Adept. You can use code Gelbeauty87 on Adept's website. If you picked up your cream blushes, hopefully you did. But I was just had these couple other ones to show. I love the multi-chrome here. I'm so sad she got rid of this one, but you know they love to do limited edition there, so I was not surprised. Where did that palette go? On to the next one. I'm trying to hurry up quick because it's almost 4 o'clock, and I'm trying to get out here by 5 o'clock because my mom asked me to pick her up dinner. I don't want her sitting waiting forever because I'm trying to do like eye looks after I get done with this. So next we have, I decided to do one for the Tangled and ColourPop palette just because I felt like I had some stuff in my collection that was similar. So I feel like, believe it or not, it's almost dropped the palette, y'all. It's kind of similar to the Minka palette. That's what she looks like on the inside because it does have that pink and purple vibe to it, and then it has like a lot of shimmers. So I'm thinking this might be fun to dupe it out with, but it doesn't have like a yellow matte like that palette does. So that was like my only concern with it. But y'all know I love Adept, so I'll pick any excuse to put out an Adept palette. The next we have the Nomad Province palette. I feel like this was really similar to that palette as well. As you can see, that one has like the pinks and the purples and the yellows, or should I say the purples and the yellows. So I feel like if we just covered up this part, like it has a good majority of what that palette has to offer. And then I think it had like a dustiest mauve type shade, and we could probably use like this shade to make that a look. So I felt like this would go good to dupe out the ColourPop and Tangled palette. But I do have one more to show you all. So I have the Hey Reindeer from Eye. Make sure you use code Dion if you're purchasing from Nomad Cosmetics. Thank you so much. But Hey Reindeer from Eye. This is what it looks like on the inside. And I felt like it had some of the colors, not nearly as many of them as the other one did, but you all know I like to give you options. And there's still, I feel like, enough options in this palette to justify it being in here. But I'm feeling like we should go with the Nomad one when it comes to that one. But as you can see, it has like those more mauve tone shades. It has this yellow shade. This yellow shade does shift to a different tone, though, so that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, Janet, I'm really feeling the Nomad, too. Like, Nomad is just all up in this list this week. I'm sad that they did get rid of this, though. But it is a great color story, so I'm happy to have it. This is another reason I didn't want to buy the Morgan Turner palette because, as you can see, it's giving like reddish pink and purple too. So that's why I didn't rush to get her palette because I was like, I already have a whole bunch of pinks and purples because I'm a what we all know, a purple palette connoisseur. So I'm gonna have my purple shades already in my collection. We got a couple more. So how did y'all feel about Angie's palette when Karen launched it or showed it before she did? Because as soon as I saw it, it just made me think of her Trick or Treat palette or another another Uten's palette she already had. So initially made me think of her Trick or Treat palette. You all remember that palette, right? Like it has a lot of those similar tones that you see. It has these like deep burgundies and it has like the greens and all that. So I'm like, I feel like she's just relaunching all the palettes she made with Uten's and her collab, or all the palettes she made as collab palettes, just as a soft launch because it makes sense if people wanted Club Nebula. Her Galaxy palette is like the first drop to her collection, and it's really similar to her Club Nebula palette, but she added more neutrals in it because she realizes that people like to have neutrals even though she doesn't really use neutrals. And now I feel like with this new launch she just recreated this palette, but she didn't put as much of well, the shades are deeper. Like this shade right here, it's not a burgundy, it's more like an aubergine shade in her new palette, but I feel like it has a lot of these same elements. So I'm like, I feel like she just keeps relaunching her color stories, so I'm trying to wait for her to actually come up with a color story that is original. But so far, I'm leaning toward this one. But I'll show you all the other three I have besides this one. Of course, y'all know I had to pull out the Merry Christmas one because, again, I feel like Merry Christmas just gives similar vibes. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Janet. Like, she just keeps recreating her palettes, which in theory makes sense because people like those because they bought out those collabs and it soft launches your brand and your formulas. And for the new people who have found you later on, it makes sense for you to do that so that way, they can have a piece of what they missed out on before they found you, and you can still like make the profit and know the color story is guaranteed to be a success. So it makes sense. I'm not mad at her for it. It's just it's something I noticed, and since I am an OG who's been with her for a while, I was like, I don't feel the need to pick it up. But again, see what I'm saying? Like this one gives a similar vibe as well. Now again, the shade in her palette is a deeper aubergine, but otherwise I'm like, this and the one I just showed you all, Trick or Treat, to me are pretty on par and pretty similar. So it's got me thinking, like, did she help them with creating this palette initially when they came out with it, and that's why hers looks similar? Or like, did she just take inspiration from this palette and put her own twist on it, or what exactly? Because I feel like this one and her palette are really similar when it comes to color stories. But this was another one I thought about. I mean, both of them are sold out, but again, if they're giving exact color stories and you want that sort of color story, I have to show you what is most realistic. Now, next, I know the Garfield palette isn't exact because the Garfield palette doesn't have any green in it. However, the Garfield palette I do feel like has a lot of the tones that she has. Like I feel like if it had a green instead of this shade, Hella, you think Hella would have duped it out? Because remember, Hella had like the pink in it. It did have the aubergine shades at the bottom though, but because of that pink and this and that palette was more orange and leaning or whatever, that's why I didn't do that. I think it would be cool if she did like come out with a palette that looks like Hella though around like Halloween next year. I feel like that'd be really cool. Okay, I don't what is going on with my volume. I don't know. Anyway, um, oh, okay. So back to what I was saying. I feel like this one does give similar vibes to her palette, if you will. It's just because of this gray is knocking it off, but you notice it has this deeper like aubergine shade. You get like some orangey tones, even though I feel like this is more like a yellowy orange tone, and then you get a lot of those warm tones. I know she really likes warm tones, so that's why I understand her palette is warm tone. I feel like this was just something I wanted to show because I felt like it gave similar vibes. And if you're not a person who really dabbles in green or likes green that much, I know some of you all told me you don't like the way green looks on you. I figured this might be a good alternative for you, so that way you don't have to worry about buying a green knowing you're not really going to use the green and it won't be useful to you when this one, last time I checked, this was like $10 or something. Don't quote me, I don't remember. I bought mine when it was $10 when I still bought from the brand. But anyway, on to the last palette is the Hudson Valley from Nomad. Like I said, Nomad just all up and through this video today. And as you can see, this gives similar tones as well. It has a deeper, darker shade. Now, I will say this one has a set of grays that hers does not have. Again, Angie isn't really big on cool tones. She prefers warm tones. But I like this one because it has the cool tones and warm tones. And I can get a little bit of vibrancy from the warm side. But I can still have that deep, cool, dark outer V that I prefer. So I like this one as a contender. However, I know I wouldn't be able to use this part. And the greens in here, I feel like are just a little too dark. So I mainly try to pick ones that I felt like. You feel like the Christmas palette is the closest, Janet? Okay, Sarah, do you agree with her that we should do the Christmas palette? Because I kind of want to do Angie's palette, but I'm like, we can do either or because I feel like both of them still have such similar color stories. So like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. They're looking damn near identical. Like, does it really matter? I don't think so. But Janet saying Christmas. Let me know before the end if you agree with Christmas or not, Sarah. But yeah, we can do Christmas. So far we have Christmas and um Nomad Province, Nomad Iceland, and Icy Nudes. So far that's what we're going with. So okay, Jen. Yeah, that works, Sarah. Okay, so we'll do Christmas palette for main channel, and then I will do the Hella palette for members, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. Last one we have to talk about is the Dede Signature. I think it's called Drops of Fantasy or Drops Fantasy. So I just that one to me just looks like a really unorganized like rainbow palette. You all can let me know what you think down below, but it just gives me the vibes of an unorganized rainbow palette that's kind of like sporadic, if you will. So I pulled a couple of rainbow palettes and then I pulled some more sporadic like color stories when it came to palettes just because I was like, curious. So I'll start off with the two like rainbow-esque palettes I picked, and then we'll get into the more like colorful, unique ones. So I picked the Tokyo palette from BH Cosmetics. I think you might still be able to buy this palette on Beauty Bay. I don't know if you can buy it. Otherwise, only thing is I feel like there might not be enough shimmers and matte ratio matching when it comes to the Dede Signature palette. I do have the Dede Signature. Sorry, I do have a code with Dede Signature. It's Gelbeauty-87 if you want to buy anything from them. But yeah, I felt like this could be a contender. I don't remember there being pinks in it though, so that was my only thing. Like this row of pink would be useless to us, but I feel like it has the rest of the tones in here, which is why I pulled it. Plus, it's like on the affordable end, and if you can still pick it up from Beauty Bay, then it might be beneficial for you to look at this one as opposed to the Dede Signature one. Although she's gonna have amazing dual chromes and multi chromes, and that's what I love about that palette. Next, I have the Lynn Bunny Primal palette. I think I gave one of these away in a giveaway last year. Don't quote me, but Again, pretty much a standard rainbow palette, but again, I feel like it has some of those core colors that her palette has. I will say though, the shimmers in this palette aren't as good as the shimmers are now when it comes to this brand, so that's just something to keep in mind. Not that you can pick this up anymore, but I'm talking about for the people who were looking to the brand and looked at this palette with interest. The shimmer formula here isn't nearly as good as the way it is now. I think this was the second or maybe third palette she came out with shimmer formula that she was still trying to perfect to where she got where she is now. So that's just something to keep in mind if you find this on Mercari or Poshmark or something. The shimmer formula here isn't as good as the newer palettes. But I was thinking maybe this one. I low key want the Dede Signature too. Sarah, I mean Janet, I'm just kind of like I don't know. Hi Tanya. So next we have the Beauty Moon Cosmetics Divergent palette. Shout out to Stephanie for sending this over to me. So I feel like this gives more of the vibe of like a kind of eclectic, all over the place, like color story, but it's still giving like kind of rainbow palette-esque vibes when it comes to the Dede Signature palette. I definitely feel like this is one that does that. So I'm feeling like this could be a good contender just because I feel like it has some of those tones in it that the Dede Signature palette has. And the shimmers in this palette are pretty good. So yeah, this is a nice palette there. I was gonna pull out Cosmology too, but I feel like this was the one that was closer to it than Cosmology. Then I have a couple of black owned brands. So we got the Clarity Cosmetics Aloha palette. Now I don't think you can get this one anymore, but I definitely felt like the color story of it was really similar to the one from Dede Signature. It definitely gave me the vibe of that when I really took a look and dive into my drawers, my collection for this video. I definitely feel like it's channeling the vibes of that. Just because it has a different background, it kind of threw me off a little bit, but I definitely see it channeling the vibes of the Dede Signature new palette. I'm like, I could see myself definitely using this one in place of that one. So this is personally my pick when it comes to the palettes so far to dupe the Dede Signature out, but you all can tell me which one you like best at the end. The last one I have, and this brand hasn't made palettes in forever. I don't know what's going on over there. They seem like they're going more in the complexion and like skincare route than they are eyeshadow palettes, but I feel like they haven't done any in forever. Yeah, the Clarity one. And then we have this Culture palette from Juvia's Place. Y'all know Juvia's Place always having a sale and deal on eyeshadow palettes. And you can pick this one up at Ulta too, which probably helps because I don't think they sell the Clarity one anymore. Do not quote me, but I feel like this one was a good alternative too. I will say though, I feel like the shimmers in the Clarity one are gonna be more on par with the what do you call it? With the shimmers from Dede Signature. I don't feel like the Juvia's Place ones will necessarily be there. It's not that they're bad. I just feel like indie brands that aren't as mainstream as Juvia's Place is are gonna have a little bit more like better shimmer quality to them. And I feel like they found their like generic formula that they use in all their palettes, whereas Dede Signature I feel like does a little bit more foily, wet, like extra shimmer, extra sparkle in their eyeshadows than Juvia's Place does. So if I had to choose, I'd choose between either the Juvia's Place one or the Clarity one. But so far, Janet is saying Clarity. Are y'all agreeing with Janet when it comes to like the Clarity palette? Because I definitely am. I'm definitely feeling the Clarity palette over the Culture palette, even though I do like both of them. So I'll do a recap for those of you all who just showed up. So we started off by talking about the Glamonatrix Cosmetics palette, their Nearly Natural one, the newer one they came out with. So I'm going to do a video with this one for everyone, and then Janet picked one just for the members only. Okay, Sarah, you agree? Cool. And then we did this palette for the Tangled and ColourPop, the Province palette. I'll let you see inside just in case. What she looks like. It's giving similar vibes to that one. Then we picked for the Fantasy Cosmetica Ranger palette. We picked the Iceland palette from Nomad. You can use my bestie's code Dionluvsmakeup. Her code is Dion at Nomad, and you can get a discount. But this is what it looks like on the inside. Unfortunately, the two Nomad palettes have been discontinued. So if you were looking to purchase them, you have to buy them on Poshmark or Mercari or somewhere like that. But as you can see, it has a nice grays in it. It has a green shimmer we can use in spite of not having a green matte. And then it has like the reds and oranges that palette has. So that's why we chose this one. And then you all just decided that we were going to do Clarity Cosmetics. And I even did one for Angie's palette, and we did a little talk of that. So if you want to watch the replay, you can see about that. But we decided to go with the Merry Christmas palette to dupe out Angie's new palette from Cinch Beauty, and this is what she looks like. So I have quite a few eye looks I need to go do. So I'm about to leave because, like I told y'all, I want to be done by 4 o'clock, and we done 5 minutes early. So I'm gonna go off camera and start on these eye looks. But I hope you all enjoyed. I'm glad y'all helped me pick some of these out because a couple of them I was shocked that you picked different ones over what I had chose. But it's cool, it's good. And I'll see you guys next week with some more palettes and a fragrance review. So stay tuned and make sure you check up on the live because I will be doing a live when I get the Snif Gentle Reminder fragrance in. They just told me my PR package got shipped yesterday, so hopefully I'll have it before the first. I have it linked down below in the description box of the new makeup releases for anyone who wanted to purchase it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!